trolls do not understand is that I've survived about 6 years and I'm doing well for myself and my book is out there. So do not really spend your energy on me. I'm sure you have better things to do in life. I'm going to be there, so live with it.
What comes to your mind, when we say trolls?
Today, if you had asked me this question earlier, I was very new to Twitter. So I really did not know what a Twitter troll was till one fine day in 2011 when I logged into Twitter. And this was right after I got Amit Shah behind bars in 2010. And then I realized that a troll was somebody who had absolutely no rational argument to make. A troll was somebody who would try to be so unreasonable in his argument or her argument that he would make you laugh. A troll was somebody who would just be so vicious that he would want to intimidate you and make you leave that space. I realized that pretty early in my Twitter career so far, and thankfully I have really survived the troll culture. And there's one thing, as I said in my column today in Hindustan Times, that one thing to trolls that do not waste your energy. I'm here to stay.
But does it affect you? Like, did it affect you emotionally?
At one point, yes. I mean, there were various junctures on Twitter when it did affect me. There were campaigns on Rana Ayub, CD, Rana Ayub, sex scandal. I mean, all imaginations of fertile mind. When it's a man, you talk about corruption. When it's a female, you talk about character assassination. So it did matter to me when people used photoshopped images of mine with nude pictures. When celebrities, in fact, kind of trolled me and asked me to chant Bharat Mata Ki Jai. It was really bothersome. When top sports persons, the top actors on Twitter are asking me, "Come on, Rana, forget everything else. First, tell us, can you chant Bharat Mata Ki Jai?" And that was humiliating for me as an Indian. And I think yes, it did bother me. But then I know that these people, their job, this is a paid syndicate. These are neo-nationalists who want you to vacate that space which they want to occupy. So now I think I've overcome most of the fear, most of the hurt that I have faced on social media, and I don't think I'm leaving it anytime soon.
But this argument, when you respond to trolls, you actually empower them. Mm-hmm. So what makes you, respond to them? Why do you want to even acknowledge their presence?
The thing is, it is a huge majority. While I may not get affected, there are many other women who are getting affected. So by calling them out, I'm calling out their perverse ways and means they use to attack women. For instance, I call out all those people. I mean, sending me to Pakistan, calling me a jihadi is something like is passé. It's so boring that I don't even acknowledge it. But when you send me rape threats, I'm going to call you out, and because this is not a simple case, it's a case of molestation under the new law. Recently, the guy I deported got sacked and deported from UAE. He would not have imagined that a lewd message from him to me would have him sacked from his job. But I set up precedents. I wanted to set up precedents there that you can't just get away with everything. Some things are non-negotiable. Sexual abuse of women is non-negotiable. So these need to be called out.
What is your biggest fear?
Honestly, if you ask me, I really cannot think of a fear right now. I am not. The only thing I fear for is my family. I don't want them to drag my family. The other day I wished my brother on social media with an image of him, and the next day I saw the most disgusting messages about my brother, and that's something that really hurt me. That's something that really bothers me. You can attack me, it doesn't make a difference to my life, but you attack my family or you attack my who I am as a female, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to take this line down. I'm not going to take this line down.
According to Nayantara Sehgal, with whom I was chatting yesterday, she said this new definition of nationalism or imposed patriotism is the unmaking of India. I want to understand who, according to you, is a nationalist and should be called a nationalist.
I really do not think that there should be a set definition of nationalism, because then we are in a way falling in the same trap as these alleged neo-nationalists want us to fall in. I do not think anybody in this country needs to prove their patriotism or to sing Bharat Mata Ki Jai or Vande Mataram or whatever for that matter. this, the people who gave us, who fought for the freedom struggle of this country, the people who got us freedom, did not ask us to be a part of a set narrative to prove their patriotism. Then who are these neo-nationalists? I do not think there is any definition for a nationalist, and I for one would not, certainly not set one for anyone else.
How upset does it make you, given the fact that the person who you sent behind the bars is the most powerful person in the country today?
I think it speaks something about the people of my country, and it speaks something about their moral compass. It used to upset me. I wrote a column in DNA which said it's a new low in Indian politics, and of course, very famously, the article was pulled down. And I know that these people, I mean, they might be in power, but they are still scared of people like us who have the power of the pen. That Amit Shah, a man like him who has criminal cases against him, and there have been not just Amit Shah, there have been many politicians across the political spectrum who have cases against him, who are sitting in positions of power. I think these people are reflective of the Indian democracy, that there is something very wrong with what we are doing, our thought process. We cannot forget that 31% of this population voted for Narendra Modi and Amit Shah. So there has to be something wrong with the moral compass of these people. There has to be something which they believe is right is wrong, which they believe is wrong is right. There has to be an understanding of that. There has to be an understanding of what is going wrong with the common man of this country, that it is willing to accept people who have committed crimes as people they want to put in places of power.
What do you have to say about self-publishing?
I think if you believe in the content of your book, I think if you believe in your integrity, and if people are not willing to publish, I do not think self-publishing is something that you need to look down upon. I mean, when I was self-publishing my book, everybody said, if you're self-publishing, nobody's going to buy it. For heaven's sake, it was one of the biggest bestsellers of 2016. 75,000 copies today as I talk in 10 languages is no mean feat. Of course, it will require a great deal of hard work. Of course, there will be a great deal of persistence which is required. Nothing comes without hard work. You have to be mentally prepared to put yourself out there. I mean, in the last, I'm close to 11 months since my publication of my book, and I must have had at least 250 book events. I'm taking one flight every day. There are days I'm exhausted, but I'm still doing it. You need to put yourself in it. Otherwise, self-publishing is not a model for you.